Hello and welcome to Excellent Link Academy. For this class, we'll look at the second method of differentiation called the chain rule method of differentiation. Last class, we dealt with the first method of differentiation and we also dealt with general method of differentiation, right, in our previous classes. So I've done a good and explainable video for those two methods. The first one, general method, and the first principle. I've done that so far. So let's now look at yet the third method called the chain rule method of differentiation. For chain rule method of differentiation, the concept here is that you have two terms, right? Let's say term A and term B. If I have two variables or two terms, if these two terms are adding or if these two terms are subtracting, but they are being raised to a particular power, I'll apply the concept of chain rule. So here's the concept. In exam, if they give a question in exam, how do you spot out? How do you identify a chain rule? It's easy. I'll show you now. So let's say I have a variable A and B per se. Let's say A and B are subtracting each other in this case, or let's say A and B are adding each other in this case, such that they are raised to a particular power. Something of this nature is referred to as chain rule. If I have two variables subtracting or two variables adding such that they are raised to a particular power, you apply the concept of chain rule, please. Having said so, let's look at the mathematical expression for chain rule. The formula for chain rule is given by dy over dx is equal to dy over du times du over dx. So when it comes to chain rule, it has a formula. Cram the formula, know the formula. It's given by dy over dx equal to dy over du times du over the x as being the mathematical form for chain rule. So at this point now, let's take a few examples and let's solve together and see how we can possibly evaluate questions on chain rule. Example 1. So let's say I'm given that y is equal to 4x plus 3 all to power 2. Of course, no one should tell you this is a chain rule concept. Why? I have two things adding and they are being raised to a power. This is a chain rule. You should identify it now. Spot out chain rule now. This is how to identify chain rule question. Now, how do you possibly solve question on chain rule? Chain rule is different from general method and first method we've been doing so far. It's different. Let's now see how you can possibly solve problem here using chain rule. In this case here, I'm given that y is equal to this. So my first task solution to solve this is that I will let u to be equal to the term in bracket, that's 4x plus 3. So your first task when it comes to solving problem under chain rule is that you let u to be the term in bracket. So u is this term in bracket. So in this case now, I'm seeing u and x. I'll have du over dx. In this case, I have y is equal to x. Here I'm seeing y and x, so I'll have dy over dx. Similarly, I'm seeing u and x becomes du over x is equal to, if I differentiate 4x, I should have 4 plus differentiate 3, a constant term, of course, is 0. At the end of the day, therefore du over the x value is equal to just 4. Keep it pending. After letting u to be term in brackets, solve this way and have 4. Now go back to your question. But from the question, I have that y is equal to everything in this bracket. We said it is u now. That becomes u to power what? To power 2. 4x plus 3 is now u, right? This u all squared. I'm seeing y and u. I'm seeing yx divided by the x, or perhaps I'm writing y with respect to x. I have divided by the x. Similarly, I'm writing y with respect to u. I'll have dy over du as being equal to, differentiate u to power u squared, I'll have 2u. This is like saying I have that y is equal to x squared. Dy over the x is that the power here is 2, that becomes 2 times x to power 2 minus 1. This is what? 2x. So it's similar to this too. So I have 2u in this case, not 2x. Here I'm using u, becomes 2u. By the way, if you watch our previous classes on general method, you should know how to do this now. I can't just start explaining general method at this point. Go and watch general method so you understand how we differentiate something of this nature. All right. Proceeding from here, I've gotten these two stuff ready. Now at this junction, after saying that y is equal to, everything here was u, then squared, I differentiated. Next thing here is what? Recall chain rule formula that says what? Dy over the x is equal to dy over du times du over the x. Dy over the x will be equal to, what's dy over the u? Dy over the u. Dy over the u is what? 2u. This is 2u times, what's dy over the x? Dy over the x is what? 4. I have 4. Hence, dy over the x will be equal to 2 times 4 is 8. I have u left. I can't leave my answer this way. Observe, I'm having dy over the x. Everything here in my answer must be in terms of x. So at this point now, this u, you now say, but this u is what from the question? 4x plus 3. So in this case now, dy over the x will be equal to 8 into what's u? 4x plus 3. So when I differentiated this question here, I have this as my answer. So it becomes how to solve problem using the concept of chain rule method. By the way, when it comes to chain rule method, we have shortcuts to solve problem in chain rule. But basically, I'll do one example now. In our next class, we'll now look at the shortcut solving problem under chain rule method of differentiation.